And a very pleasant Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning, wherever you may be. Vasu Vatapati here with you for the Make the Money and Run podcast minute for Sunday, June 6th, 2021. Thanks to everybody on Facebook Live and on YouTube who's watching us right now. If you missed any of the live broadcasts, Monday, Thursday, and Friday is where you can find us, 4:15 Eastern, 1:15 Pacific, Facebook and YouTube. If you miss any of it, including our pick segment, Casey Freelove, Charlie O, and myself, all are the co-hosts. You can get the podcast, download and subscribe anywhere you get your podcast: Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts. Just look for the logo up there in the corner, Make the Money and Run. Click onto it, subscribe, rate and review. Give us all the stars, give us all the comments. You can get social with us as well on Facebook. With each of us has an individual Facebook page, Instagram page. We have a Make the Money and Run Facebook page as well too. All right, a big weekend in sports this weekend. What a weekend it is. The NBA playoffs are getting going in the second round. How about those Brooklyn Nets, even without an injured James Harden yesterday, who went out in the game? I guess he had a hamstring issue or something. I couldn't hear it. But the Nets still dominated in the second half and beat the Milwaukee Bucks, covering the 4-point spread, 115-100. I think it ended up 115-102. It ended up that way. The under was 240. The over-under was 240. In the playoffs, that's a very high number, and that didn't even come close. The Nets finally played some defense. They were the first ones to show themselves. The two games that go today, very interesting matchup in Philadelphia, all depending on the health of Joel Embid. There is no line on the game. Yesterday when I saw the line, it was the Philadelphia 76ers -3, and the total was 220.5. Trae Young had an incredible series against the New York Knicks in their series win 4-1. Joel Embid missed game 4, warmed up in game 5, did not come out to play in either 4 or 5, but still the Sixers, the 1 seed in the East, were able to beat the Washington Wizards, and here they are in game 1 opening up today. That game's going to start in 20 minutes on ABC, 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific. I'm trying to get the baseball lines here as we go through it, so sorry about that. Let's check Facebook out here a little bit as we go through everything. How you doing, David Andrews? Good morning, Vasu, Casey, and Charlie. We appreciate the love, David. And I know you support Stables Media. We're powered by Stables Media. Want to give a shout-out to Glenn Morrell and Vince Giorcello. Tune in to Sunday Spin, 7 Eastern, 4 o'clock right here on Stables Media. They are coming out with a record called the Skinny Mulligans. Skinny Mulligans, 1966. I should have it in front of me, but 7 Eastern on Stables Media, 4 o'clock Pacific. You can catch their show. Great music show, great show with great guests. And, of course, Vinny and his humor, Glenn, the music knowledge between the two of them probably expands better than most libraries do right now. So check it out at 7 Eastern, 4 o'clock on Stables Media, on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts as well, too. All right, back to it. So the NBA, Joel Embid, trying to see if there's a line here on this game as I look at it. Let me go to the screen here where you can see me, but I can't see you. So as I go scroll down here, see if that game has come up yet. The Atlanta Hawks, there it is. The Philadelphia 76ers are 4.5, 221. So that looks like Joel Embid is going to play, in which case I will take the Philadelphia 76ers. I'll change that right now on my picks as we go through it. But the Philadelphia 76ers opening game 1 at home against the Atlanta Hawks, 4.5, 221 the total. Game 1 of that series. Philadelphia, the 1 seed, Atlanta, the 5 seed after upsetting the 4 New York Knicks. By the way, congratulations to the Knicks for making the playoffs. Couldn't believe it, but here they are making their way into the playoffs. The second game of the day, it will be, as I change this here, the second game of the day will be the Game 7 between the Los Angeles Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks. What's interesting about this series, as we all know, for those that have followed, all 3 wins by each team have come on the road. The Mavericks have covered three road games as a 7-point, 6-point, 6.5-point underdog. The line today is the Clippers -6. They've not only covered, they've won the games outright. The Clippers have covered their 3 games in Dallas as road favorites. So very surprising the 3 road favorites go in and win. But that's the scenario we have today. Now they're back in Los Angeles. Do they follow the pattern? The Mavericks win outright, not only covering the 6 points that it is. The line on the game right now is the Mavericks 6 and 211. I don't like that number 6. I would probably buy it up to a half point because 6 points is 2 possessions in the NBA. 2 threes will cover that spread. So 6.5 might be good for the Dallas Mavericks right there, but I think they might win the game outright, so it won't even matter. The Dallas Mavericks could end up winning. The winner of this game 7, that's at 3:30 in the afternoon, 12:30 on the West Coast. The winner of that game will go on to play the Utah Jazz, who are the 1 seed in the Western Conference. That series should start Tuesday night, I'm assuming, because the Nets in Brooklyn are there. Denver and Phoenix will go tomorrow night as well, too. We'll talk about those games tomorrow with Charlie O tomorrow on Monday. Casey Freelove's on with me on Mondays. Brooklyn, just for your information, at -2, 233.5. Check out the Harden injury. Make sure he's eligible to play. But right now, Brooklyn can score at will. Milwaukee, good defensive team, but they just didn't have any answers in the fourth quarter for the Brooklyn offense. And then Denver and Phoenix at 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Phoenix, an early 4.5-point favorite, 219.5. Okay, that does it for the NBA. Let's move on to Major League Baseball now. How about the Major League Baseball? Where I live out here, the San Francisco Giants are let me get the standings here. The San Francisco Giants are 37-21, the best record in the National League as far as the American League goes. In fact, the best record in baseball, because the Tampa Bay Rays are 37-23. So by percentage points, the Giants have the best record in baseball. Both teams tied at 37 wins. In the American League East, Boston has 35, Toronto 30. After their win yesterday, the Yankees have 31 wins, but they have more losses. But in the National League West, the San Diego Padres got beat by Jacob deGrom. I'll get to a Jacob deGrom stat in a second. The Mets win 4-0 in a quick game last night. The Giants are 2 games up on the Padres, 3 games up on the Dodgers. Dodgers lost to Atlanta yesterday behind Charlie Morton, 6-4. The loss for the Dodgers. They're 3 games back, 1 game back of the Padres. Colorado and Arizona, 14.5, 16 back in the West. The San Francisco Giants are going for it's very improbable. It's highly possible and likely probable because they're at home. The Chicago Cubs are a very good team. They're leading the NL Central. Actually, they're tied in the NL Central with the Milwaukee Brewers at 32-26. They've lost 3 in a row, have the Cubs. The Brewers have won 3 in a row. They made up those 3 games. St. Louis Cardinals have played the Cincinnati Reds at home. Good rivalry, but Cincinnati's come in there even without Joey Votto, Michael Moustakas, a suspect starting rotation. Bullpen's okay. They've won 3 in a row. They beat the Cardinals in St. Louis, are looking for a 4-game road sweep. I talked about how more probable it is for a 4-game sweep by a home team. This is very improbable that Cincinnati Reds are going to be able to get to St. Louis and sweep the Cardinals 4 games in St. Louis. Cardinals just cannot hit right now. Defense has been shaky to open the year, but right now they seem to be playing better. Last 3 games, however, it does not show that, as the Cardinals have lost to the Reds. Game 4 will come up at 2:15 today. Cincinnati's bullpen. The one guy you want to look at in the bullpen, I don't know what his parents were thinking or what type of people they are, but TJ Anton has become one of the best relievers in baseball. He's spelled Teeteejay, Anton, Antone. TJ Anton is nasty. He pitches for the Reds. He should be their closer right now. It's a good story that the Reds are. They've won 3 in a row. They picked up 3 games on the Cubs. They picked up 3 games on the Cardinals. They are 2.5 back of the third-place Cardinals at 1.5 games back, and then 4 back of Milwaukee and Chicago after these 3 wins. Milwaukee has won 3 in a row, so they didn't pick up any ground on Milwaukee, but they have picked up ground on the Cubs as well. And so it's a 4-team race in the NL Central. We talked about the New York Mets. 4-0 win last night over San Diego. Jacob deGrom is 5-2. His ERA has dropped to a microscopic 0.62. It's unbelievable how good he is. This is how good he is, and this is a little inside baseball knowledge that I had heard yesterday. So in the first innings, they're starting to track pitchers, everything going on, and you read the story about the tacky substance and how the spin rates have improved, and I know Trevor Bauer's getting a lot of flack for that, but trust me on this. Everybody is using it. There's a story about the former Anaheim Angels visiting clubhouse attendant that created this sticky substance. There's a lot of guys that were using it. Garrett Cole apparently would call in advance to get his formula taken care of. This is all unsubstantiated. Sports Illustrated did a great story on it. Obviously, no comment by the players, but clearly there's something going on, and you can tell. And you can tell. All you got to do is look at any stats info solutions or anything of that nature, and you can see the spin rates are upwards of 500 revolutions more than they were the year before. And that goes for everybody. So average pitchers or below average pitchers are becoming average pitchers. Average pitchers are becoming better pitchers. Better pitchers are becoming great pitchers. Everybody is trying to get an edge. This is an edge. It may be cheating, probably is, but it's for the grip of the baseball and the better grip you have, the better rotation, the better spin you have, and able to control the ball. We know batting averages are down. We know strikeouts are up. Walk, strikeout, home runs, the three true outcomes in baseball. The averages are down, and you can see that in the pitching. So I'm not knocking Jacob deGrom for anything, but if you're too young to remember Tom Seaver or Dwight Gooden, make sure you don't miss Jacob deGrom's start. So here's my point on Jacob deGrom, and he's great. Do not mistake what I just said about that he's great. Jacob deGrom is outstanding, and again, he showed up. He showed up again. Frank O'Neill says Balco never went away. Balco did not go away, and they're right here in our area, Redwood City. Frank O'Neill knows because he lives in that area, so we'll see how that goes. Thanks, Frank, for watching. So they're tracking – so 8 different pitchers have thrown – I'm sorry, it's happened 8 different times where pitchers have thrown over 100 miles in the first inning. That's good. That means you're off to a good start and you're getting 100-mile-an-hour pitches. Jacob deGrom has had first-inning pitches in his starts this year over 100 miles an hour 57 times. 57 times versus 8 combined by everybody else. Now, he's on a pace for a Hall of Fame pace. He's an outstanding pitcher. He doesn't need a lot of help. But Jacob deGrom is on fire, and I guarantee if you watch a New York Mets start, even if you don't like the New York Mets, make sure you watch a Jacob deGrom start. And if you watched last night against the Padres on extra innings, or you live in San Diego or New York or was on MLB Network, whatever, make sure you do not miss a Jacob deGrom start. I'm making sure I can record that every time. But 57 first-inning pitches over 100 miles an hour in all his start versus 8 for everybody else in Major League Baseball. How about that? That's unbelievable to me. All right, let's move on to the American League now. In our last few minutes, talked about the Tampa Bay Rays. 37-23. Boston has won the first 2 games in New York. They're looking for a sweep on Sunday Night Baseball because where else would you find the Yankees Red Sox on Sunday? Sunday Night Baseball. They don't have other teams to get at for, and it's a little shot at ESPN. I get it. I work for a different network, so I get it. But that's what they do. Yankees Red Sox, Sunday Night Baseball, 7 o'clock tonight. It'll be Domingo Germán. And I don't know who's pitching for the Red Sox. It doesn't matter. It's always Yankees, Red Sox. Astros, Blue Jays has been an interesting series. Astros won the first game Friday night. Toronto wins the second game yesterday, 8-1. They go again today at 1 o'clock Eastern. Toronto, 5 games back of the Rays in the American League East. The Yankees are 5.5 back. They've lost 3 in a row, including the Thursday game to Tampa, and then the first 2 to the Red Sox. And Baltimore has fallen off the map, 16 back in that regard. The White Sox lost to the Tigers yesterday. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're still plus 82 run differential. Tigers got good pitching yesterday and really held on late. White Sox had base runners all over the place. Chicago 35-23, 3 games up on Cleveland. Kansas City Royals 5 games behind. They're still 5 games behind, and they're 2 games over 500. Detroit 11 games back, and how about those Minnesota Twins 12 games back in the standings behind the White Sox. They're slowly fading out. They've got too good of a team, but their defense has been horrible. Their starting pitching has been okay, but their bullpen has been really bad. The Oakland A's are in Colorado this weekend. They've won the first 2 games. They're on a 4-game winning streak. They've got Colorado again today. The young man, James Caprillion, goes for the A's, going up against Germán Marquez. The Rockies actually a favorite today. So if you think the A's are going to sweep, which is highly, highly possible because the A's are playing well, 35-25, I would take the underdog in Oakland. In fact, I'm going to add that on my pick. I don't have it listed, but Oakland and Caprillion maybe at Colorado against the Rockies ace, Germán Marquez. Oakland 2 games up on Houston, who lost yesterday, as we said, to Toronto. Seattle Mariners had a 5-1 lead. They gave it up yesterday to the Angels. 12-5 they lost, or 12-6 they lost. They are 6 games back, and the Angels are 7 games back in the American League West. So still an outside shot for Shohei Ohtani. Mike Trout still injured. Anthony Rendon having a bad year. Their bullpen's shaky. Their starting pitching is shaky, except for Ohtani right now. I know Andrew Heaney had a good start against the Giants on Tuesday, but he's not somebody you want to rely on. And so we'll see if the Angels are sellers at the trade deadline, or they're looking to maybe improve a little bit to get into the mix, because 7 games out on June 6th is not that far back. All right, a lot of things going on in Major League Baseball. Hockey, we've got some hockey. The second round series are coming up. The division finals, the Elite Eight, they call it in the NCAAs. I don't know what they call it in hockey. Colorado has a 2-1 series lead over Vegas. The Boston Bruins have a 2-1 series lead over the Islanders after another overtime win. 18 overtime wins, now 19 overtime wins in 50-some-odd games. We had the stat for you on Friday, 18 overtime games and 48 playoff games going into Friday. And I think the overtime game for Boston proved to be the case. Tampa Bay came back and rallied. They're 3 games to 1 up on Carolina, the Carolina Hurricanes. And then the Montreal Canadiens, how about that? Not playing well all year. Last in their last playoff spot in their division. They upset Edmonton. Cam Parsons. They upset Edmonton in 4 straight. They've got a 2-games-to-none series lead on Winnipeg right now, Winnipeg upset Edmonton. Montreal came back and upset Toronto, down 3-1. They won 3 straight, and Toronto is a 1 seed, went out, and a lot of conversation going on in Toronto about the future of the Maple Leafs and what they're going to do next year, but they're out. So Montreal up 2-games-to-none on Winnipeg. They go tonight as well. Winnipeg's going to have to get a win. Now they're in Montreal, and the Montreal Canadiens, Carey Price, great goalie for the years that he's played, but he's come back and shown a little bit of the old flash in this playoff series. So good for Carey Price. All right, we'll get to our picks today. I got all my picks. I'm going to add the Oakland pick on there. I didn't put it on here, but the Houston Astros are going to win the series. They're going to beat Steven Matz and the Blue Jays today. Slight underdog. The Dodgers, they don't lose series. They're split the first 2 games so far, and Trevor Bauer on the mound against Max Fried, who's had a rough going of it lately. The 8.5, the total, that might not be bad to go over as well too. Kansas City, Minnesota. Kansas City on a roll right now. Brady Singer goes for KC. He's a good young pitcher. The under 9.5 to play there for that game. And then St. Louis. I just can't see the Cardinals getting swept at home in 4 games. It's a rivalry with the Reds. The Reds have dominated. John Gant's been one of the better pitchers in the rotation for St. Louis. You got to think he's going to go. Tough to sweep a 4-game series on the road and at home. The Giants look to do that. Johnny Cueto and Kyle Hendricks on the mound today for the Giants. I like the over 8. Nice weather here in the Bay Area as I look outside my window. Beautiful blue skies. To be about 70 degrees in San Francisco at Oracle Park. By the way, happy birthday, McCovey Cove Dave. 65 years old, Dave Edlin. I cannot believe it, but he's out there kayaking and going after the home run balls like nobody's business. But 65, I can't believe it. I thought he was younger than that. You look great for 65. Happy birthday, Dave Edlin. In the NBA, I'm going to buy that half point. The 3:30 game, Game 7, the Dallas Mavericks plus 6.5 against the Clippers. All the road teams have won the games in the first 6 games, including Friday night's Clippers win. The underdogs have won for Dallas on the road in L.A., and here they are, Game 6, coming back to L.A. Dallas plus 6.5 by the half point. And it looks like Joel Embid is going to play. They're 4.5. Now the line went up to 4.5 on Atlanta. They're too strong for Atlanta, and I believe that Philadelphia will take a 1-games-to-none series lead, and they will win the game, and they will cover the 4.5. Let's see if it's changed at all. It's gone up to 5, so definitely Joel Embid. If you want to jump in on it, I'd jump in on it now. Philadelphia has gone to 5. All right, you can catch us every Monday, Thursday, and Friday right here on Facebook and YouTube live. If you miss any of the live broadcasts, you can download, subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. Look for the MTMAR logo. Subscribe, rate, and review. Give us all the reviews you want. You can email us at mtmarpodcast@gmail.com. We'll see you tomorrow at 4:15. Enjoy the basketball, enjoy the baseball, enjoy the hockey this afternoon for those of you on the East Coast. In 5 minutes, the Atlanta Hawks and Philadelphia 76ers will go. All the 1 o'clock Eastern starts will go for baseball as well, too. There's 4 of them, and the Braves and Dodgers go at 1:20. I'm Vasi Vadaparty. Have a great day. Enjoy the games. Best of luck. Hope all your picks come through. We'll see you tomorrow at 4:15 for the Make the Money and Run podcast with me and Casey Freelove. Take care, everybody. Have a great afternoon. We'll talk to you soon.